Hi, I'm Linda Ozirney from Stonewall, Manitoba. A few days ago, Kevin contacted me and asked if I would share a few reflective thoughts on my experience with the Baptist General Conference of Canada. He mentioned that he was asking some long-timers to do this on the occasion of the 40th anniversary. I have to say I struggled a little bit with that word long-timer. Should I be offended? Was it synonymous with old-timer? Wasn't sure. So I checked it up on Google, like you do these days, and I have to say that I felt much better after I did, because long-timer has nothing to do with age. It refers to someone who is serving a long jail sentence. So we're all good here. My experience with the Baptist General Conference started many years ago, like over 50 years ago, when my husband and I were asked to plant a church in the small community of Stonewall, Manitoba. They promised that they would work with us and that they would offer us financial support and resources and loads of encouragement, and that is exactly what they did. And I can't imagine planting a church these days without the backing of a good denomination. At the time, we were still part of the Baptist General Conference of the United States, but then in 1981, we formed our own entity and became the Baptist General Conference of Canada. And speaking as a pastor's wife for many years, I am so grateful for the support and the backing of the conference. I found that we were like a family. We were supported, we were encouraged, we were known. And I felt like we never were doing ministry alone, but we had someone greater walking through this with us. I love that they celebrated our milestones, our baptisms, our building programs, our mortgage burning events. They were there celebrating along with us. And also the difficult times. They were there to support and give direction and wisdom in times of stress and bewilderment, even trauma. They were there for us. And as a pastor's wife, I am so grateful for that support. Then in 1987, the Women's Ministries Department of the BGC was formed under the leadership of Dorothy Madsen. And I joined her board. I sat with her for many years. And then in the year 2000, when she stepped into retirement, I stepped into the position as Director of Women's Ministries for BGC Canada. I loved that position. I loved my job. I had two mandates that I really focused on when I was in the position. First of all, the care and encouragement of our pastors' wives was something that I loved doing. I loved connecting with the pastors' wives. I loved connecting pastors' wives together. And probably the highlight of that aspect of my ministry was when we had a national pastors' wives retreat. It was near the end of my ministry, just before I retired, and we pulled together all the women, or all the pastors' wives from across Canada, and we spent one glorious weekend together, laughing and crying and praying and sharing, and it was definitely a highlight. The other mandate that I really enjoyed was the leadership training of the women within our local churches. I had heard from Pamela Heim, who is the Director of Women's Ministries for BGC USA. She had developed a program called the School of Women's Ministries. I was intrigued with it, and she invited me to spend one class day with her down in Nebraska. And after that, she said, Linda, you need to take this program and do it in Canada. So I came up and I pulled together a council of women, and with much encouragement and wisdom and direction from the leaders of our seminary at that time, who were Daryl Busby and Wendell Phillips. I'm grateful for their help and support, and they gave some excellent direction as well. And we formed the School of Women's Ministries, later known as the School of Women in Ministry, here in Canada. And at the time when I retired, we had graduated over 200 women, and we had offered 14 schools across Western Canada. Again, an exciting program to be part of. Well, it was in the year 2000 that I stepped down into retirement. And I discovered that when you retire, you are asked to sit on boards. I guess as a long timer, it's a good thing to be asked to sit on a board, because you sit, you talk, you drink coffee. These are all things that long timers like doing. And I'm really enjoying my opportunity to serve as a member of the Board of Regents of our Canadian Baptist Seminary. The school has gone through a roller coaster of emotions, wondering sometimes if we would make it till the end of the year, whether the school would actually continue. And yet, just recently, I have sensed God's smile of approval on the Canadian Baptist Seminary. I'm sure by now you have heard about our new MA program in church planting and revitalization, the first ever to be offered at Axon. It's really an exciting thing. And I have sensed that this is God's confirmation that he is not finished with this school yet, that he still has great plans to be accomplished through this school. I have so much more I could share, but I know other people need to have their turn as well. But let me share one more thing with you. Quite a number of years ago, I believe we were still under the leadership of Abe Funk, the BGC hosted a denominational leaders event, and the staff of BGC Canada pulled together the leaders from denominations across Canada, and we met for several days together, just hearing from each other, encouraging each other. And as I sat and listened to their stories and learned a bit more about them, I was struck with the fact that I was very proud to be a member of the Baptist General Conference of Canada. And now, many years later, having been an employee of BGC Canada, having served as a pastor's wife for many years, I have to say that I am still proud to be a member of the Baptist General Conference of Canada. And as we celebrate this 40th anniversary of our denomination, my prayer is that while we are not the biggest denomination, may we be the best for the kingdom of God and for his glory. God bless you all.